And still talking on fuel subsidy. Removal of oil subsidy in Nigeria, which has generated mixed and complicating reactions from the public, has been described as a laudable step to reposition the quest for socio-economic revolution in the country. Nigeria is currently spending over 400 billion naira monthly on petroleum subsidy, and in current data terms, the landing cost is around 315 naira per litre, which made it inherent for government to subsidize the product for the citizens to buy at 165 naira per litre. Galaxy News correspondent Levi Joseph takes a look at this issue in this report.
Fuel subsidies have been in place in Nigeria since the 1970s, which began with government routinely selling petrol to Nigerians at below cost. Fuel subsidies became institutionalized in 1977 following the promulgation of the Price Control Act, which made it illegal for some products, including petrol, to be sold above the regulated price. This law was introduced by the General Olusegun Obasanjo's regime in order to cushion the effects of the global great inflation era of the 1970s, caused by a worldwide increase in energy prices.
The return of queue to filling station is not just because of that pronouncement. Days before that pronouncement was made, most of the depots in Lagos especially did not dispense fuel. The private depots, even the government depot here, and I understand the major marketer depots too, some of them did not load fuel at their filling station. So it wasn't just that pronouncement.
And we need to endure. If you want to enjoy, you have to endure before enjoyment. That's my own attitude to the removal of the oil subsidy. And people are enjoying the subsidy. It's not for the common man. It's not for the vulnerable in the society. But unfortunately, it's the common man, it's the vulnerable in the society that is suffering for it.
In 2019 and 2020, about 3 trillion naira was spent on subsidies, which means that Nigeria has spent over $30 billion on fuel subsidies over the past 16 years or so. In 2018, it spent 722 billion naira, but spent only 1.5 billion on health. Nigeria's growing fuel subsidy may have contributed to the country's health financing gap.
Nigeria is decaying under the heavy yoke of subsidy, and we keep pretending everything was in order. Fuel subsidy in Nigeria is an organized crime.
We have no business with subsidy. The only problem you have is our moribund refineries. That is the point where we feel government is not playing its part. If our refineries are functioning, we have 4 refineries, 2 in Port Harcourt, 1 in Warri, 1 in Kaduna. If those refineries are working, we will not have problem. Whether, in fact, we don't even need subsidy, whether with the refineries or without the refineries. We are running a capitalist system, and under a capitalist system, you allow forces of demand and supply to interplay.
The official reason for introducing oil subsidies was to minimize the impact of rising global oil prices in Nigeria. But sharp practices by highly placed individuals and businessmen who have designed different ways of getting part of the oil subsidy for their personal gain have rubbished the original motive behind the gesture.
There are ways and means of which government can help so that the common man, because transport fare has increased, and from that aspect, not just the labor union, we have to bring government, we have to bring in the transport union too, from that area, from the transport, because you bring food, you bring so many things from the farms.
Less than 10% of Nigerians are making this. In fact, I'm not sure they're up to 10%. I'm not sure they're up to 5%. They are making this money at the expense of every other person. If within half a year you have spent about 3 point something trillion naira on fuel subsidy. In a year, you are you will be spending over 7 trillion. Then how much do you spend on education? How much do you spend on transportation? How much do you spend on no. And whether we like it, it's a waste. Because at the end of the day, the so-called fuel that is alleged that we consume in Nigeria, we don't even consume up to 30% of it.